Hello, Jim Grilliot, Agronomic Field Representative for Midwest Laboratories out of Omaha, Nebraska. Today I want to talk briefly about plant parasitic nematodes in field corn. This is a pest that continues to be overlooked in corn production across the country. Plant parasitic nematodes are microscopic organisms that live in the soil and feed on the living root tissue in order to grow, survive, and reproduce. They can be found in most cornfields across the region or across the United States at varying populations. And most generally, these populations are based on cropping practices. There are also multiple species of plant parasitic nematodes that can affect the corn root system. And at Midwest Labs, we do species identification and counts of each of those species. So as far as the symptomology, what do you see in the field? What will you see? Unfortunately, the symptoms of plant parasitic nematodes resemble a lot of other issues you could find in the field. For instance, nutrient deficiency, acid soils, highly alkaline soils, soil compaction, and even herbicide carryover. This time of year, we get numerous phone calls about symptomology, and especially those that are affected by soil fertility. And so while a lot of times the nematodes will cause nutrient deficiency, the real issue is the feeding that's going on in that root system by those nematodes. You have a compromised root system, and that plant cannot take up nutrients as it should. It's an unhealthy plant, and it is compromised. So what do you do as a producer? What do you do as a consultant or ag retailer that's helping that producer? The key is going to be sampling. So when we think about sampling, as you would in fertility sampling, that data is only as good as the sample. So it's very important to take a good sample. So there are two parts to sampling for plant parasitic nematodes. One is going to be a normal core sample. Two, we're going to also want the root mass of that plant. So these nematodes live in the soil, as I mentioned before, but some of them will be in that tissue, that root tissue. And so we want samples of both to properly identify and manage what we have out there. Secondly, we want to talk about shipping briefly. We would prefer that you ship those samples the same day and ship overnight if possible. There's additional information that you can utilize to help you with shipping options, or contact your Midwest Labs field representative. Third is going to be interpreting that data, and I would encourage you again to contact your Midwest Labs representative to help you with those interpretations. And then lastly is going to be management. We talked about crop rotation. That's going to be important. Rotating out of corn every other year. There continues to be improvement on nematicides and just options for at least suppressing and possibly controlling those nematodes. Thirdly, I would encourage you to just think about or be cognizant about just overall fertility of that plant. Just like with disease, with other pests, the healthier your plant, more of an opportunity you have to survive. That plant has to survive, so very important. So with that, I thank you for watching the video. Please click the link to take advantage of the numerous resources we have on identifying and managing plant parasitic corn nematodes.